that the National Weather Service is warning about the danger of falling iguanas. The Miami office sent out this advisory telling residents to be on the lookout for the falling reptiles.
We had 2.5-inch diameter hail, or hail the size of tennis balls.
When you go out staring wide into the sky, most likely you expect to see birds, sun, clouds, and maybe planes in some locations, but sometimes the sky is full of surprises. Many things and happenings that you cannot explain do surface on the sky, and even some have been reportedly terrifying. So sit tight and get ready to see 20 terrifying things that fell from the sky. Number 20, golf ball. Golf balls are expected to be at the golf course, but it seems there are golfers in the sky too. In Chicago, on a Tuesday afternoon, while it was raining, it rained golf balls. Except that they are not real golf balls, but hailstones. Hailstones are usually very small, hard balls of ice that fall when it rains. While hailstone is known by almost everyone, and it is not expected to catch anyone by surprise, these particular ones are different. They are as big as the golf ball, and some are even larger. The official golf ball size is 1.68 inches, while these hailstones, reported by the National Weather Service's regional office in a Twitter post, were as large as 2 to 2.5 inches. They were found falling in southeastern Lake County, IL, near Bannockburn, and considered damaging. These stones smashed the windscreens of vehicles and even the windows of houses. How terrifying. Number 19, meat shower. In case you did not believe the biblical story of manna from heaven, this next story might just clear your doubt. On March 3, 1876, at Olympia Springs in Bath County, Kentucky, Alan Crouch's wife was outside their apartment making soap when she saw huge chunks of meat falling from the sky into her compound. She looked up to the sky, probably to see a delivery angel dispatching meat, but the sky was clear at the time. That means nothing was in the sky at the time. As soon as one saw this strange sight, she called on people to witness what she had seen. One Mr. Harrison Gill visited the day after the alleged flesh falls and noted the presence of meat sticking out of the fences and scattered across the ground. At least one of the hunks measured 10 centimeters squared, but most were about 5 by 5 centimeters. When they fell, they were the freshest meat you have ever seen, but because they were left outside of the house all night, they became dry and eventually spoiled. As strange as that was, 2 unidentified gentlemen turned up to taste the meat rain and declared that it had the flavor of either venison or mutton. Let's agree it was what they thought it was. How did it happen? The first explanation came 3 months later when someone called Leopold Brandeis received and analyzed some of the specimens that had been preserved in glycerin. He announced that the meat was not actually meat at all, but nostoc. Nostoc is a type of cyanobacteria that forms colonies surrounded by a protective gelatinous envelope. Nostoc is known to swell up into a translucent jelly-like mass whenever it rains. And of course, that brings us to another big question. There was no rain at the time, so how are we supposed to believe that? Well, Brandeis wouldn't take accolades for that, but we should thank him for something else. He gave a couple of mystery meat samples to experienced histologist and president of the Newark Scientific Association, Dr. A. Mead Edwards, who said it was likely the lung tissue of a human infant or a horse. About 7 samples were also examined by several scientists, who confirmed 2 to be lung tissue, 3 to be muscular tissue, and 2 were said to be made of cartilage. Now we are getting somewhere. So how did these parts end up in the sky? Dr. L.D. Kastenbein provided the most plausible explanation that we are ever going to get. He said the flesh was most likely a coordinated bout of projectile vulture vomit. In Kentucky, there are 2 species of vulture. 1, the black vulture, and 2, the turkey vulture. Both of them are known to projectile vomit their stomach contents away as either a defense mechanism or to make themselves light enough for flight. So maybe that was actually vulture vomit. Oh. Number 18, frozen iguanas. Undoubtedly, most of us are scared of reptiles, but we have to coexist in this world, and since we have no choice, we just prefer if they stay outside on their own while we go about our daily activities. But imagine going to work and an iguana fell on you. Not just any iguana, but a frozen iguana. Well, someone probably experienced that in Florida. It was raining frozen iguanas. But did they really come from the sky? Iguanas are cold-blooded animals, and when they get super cold, they tend to topple over from trees and plunge to the ground. See? They look dead, but they are not dead. And if you look at them well, they are frozen in a pose that's funny. But that funny pose is vital for their survival. When temperatures drop below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, iguanas go into a dormant state. It is their body's way of protecting them until the temperature warms back up above 50 degrees. The reason why we can see them fall from the sky is because they sleep in trees, so when they become cold and paralyzed, they seemingly fall from the sky during their slumber. They can smack streets, cars, or even people walking around. Iguanas are big lizards that can reach 5 feet in length and weigh up to 20 pounds. So you know this can be dangerous if it lands on your head. Number 17. 3 metal spheres. If you thought you have seen it all, that's wrong, because we are just starting. In eastern Brazil and northern Peru, reports have emerged that mysterious objects fell from the sky with loud booms. When people moved closer to see what had caused the loud boom, they found metal spheres about 115 miles away from each other. The residents of Lorancahuani, in the region of Puno, Peru, were reportedly left terrified when the 3 metallic spheres crashed down. People became scared as they thought it was an alien invasion, but according to the Peruvian Air Force, the incident may have been the spectacular re-entry of the SL-23 rocket, and the 3 spherical objects were fuel tanks from a satellite. The Air Force suggested the ball was more likely made up of space debris, which are defunct man-made objects such as old satellites that are left in space. Eventually, the balls are confirmed to be a rare atmospheric re-entry of a rocket that was launched from Kazakhstan. Thankfully, the balls did not land on anyone or thing. They would have caused serious damage to them as they weighed about 88 pounds. They were used to hold reaction control system propellant or tank pressure gases, and they are often the only surviving parts of the rockets. You might just want to start looking at the sky more as you walk under it. Number 16. Apocalyptic cloud. Let's assume you come out of your house to see this large red cloud that looks like it is descending above your house. What would you do? While you cannot be sure unless you experience it, one thing is certain: you would be terrified. We all know that dark clouds mean rain is coming, but what about a red cloud? In 2017, the residents of the Brazilian city Toshiro de Freitas saw this cloud. It is large, red, and shaped like a tornado. The most terrifying part is that it looks like it was coming down. One might just think that the town was about to be hit by a devastating meteor. But within 5 minutes of seeing this cloud, it broke apart, and according to meteorologists, it was nothing dangerous, just a dust cloud. Don't you agree that dust clouds should always come with a label? Number 15. Strange object shower. This strange object shower made people wonder if it was a comet, a meteor, or space junk falling to Earth, or maybe something else. Whatever it was, that was a scary sight. Residents across South Florida and the Treasure Coast took to social media to show photos and videos of a large fireball streaking across the sky. The witnesses called 911 to report what they had seen, and the most general opinion of this is that it was some sort of space debris. The caller reported that it was like a ball, but eventually separated into 2 parts, leaving flames and sparkles all over the place. And because of the split, many people named it a double meteor. While some saw it as a fireball, some saw it as an elongated orange stream. According to witnesses, it lasted for about 30 to 45 seconds before it disappeared. But thankfully, we are in the age of smartphones. We are all able to witness the terrifying sight. Number 14. Blue ice. If you are eating right now, you should probably skip this part because it might make you puke or make you laugh so hard. Either way, you shouldn't be eating while watching this. Fazilpur Badli village in India saw a big chunk of ice land with a big this. And this is not the regular ice that you know, but a blue ice. The villagers were astonished to see this ice, and because they have never seen anything like it, they broke some parts of the ice and kept it because they believed it was very special, saying it was an extraterrestrial object. The icy ball that weighed over 12 kilograms was sent for testing to know what it is, but what the test showed was more than what you can swallow. The test showed it was more likely to be frozen excrement from an airplane. Airplane toilets store human waste in special tanks, but they have been known to leak. In 2016, a 60-year-old woman was injured after a football-sized chunk of ice fell on her from the sky, believed to have come from a leaking plane toilet. At the time, the report says it could have been blue ice, which is a term used in aviation for frozen sewage leaked mid-flight from an aircraft's lavatory waste system, or a megacriometeor, which is an extremely large chunk of ice formed under unusual atmospheric conditions. Those who kept it at home should better pray it is the latter. Number 13. Spider rain. To some people, spiders are their biggest nightmare. They just do not want to be where spiders are, but those in Australia had no choice because of the weather conditions. While the land is known for having different species of arachnids, this spider rain was unexpected. Yeah, you heard right, spider rain. This is a process of mass ballooning, where a group of spiders spin out with dozens of silk strands and appear to be flying. When the breeze blows, it helps the spider move to higher ground. Before this process, the spiders crawl to the highest point in their habitat and then spin their silk strands and form a triangular parachute. During a mass ballooning, the sky appears to be filled with spiders, thus giving it the term spider rain. If the weather conditions change, these spiders start falling to the ground and it appears to be raining spiders. This is not something supernatural. The main cause is the weather conditions. When there are extreme floods and wildfires, it prompts spiders to flee a region and find safer spots to relocate. When water starts accumulating on the ground, spiders move in search of higher elevations. The good thing is most of these spiders do not pose any threat to humans as they are not venomous. Many a time, these spiders become prey to their larger predators. On the other hand, there is an advantage of spider rain, too. Spiders ensure the skies remain free of disease-carrying insects. During the period of spider rain, you can be sure mosquitoes won't be around because the spiders eat mosquitoes that reproduce in large numbers during rainy weather. Yes, it sounds like a nightmare, but since it doesn't cause any harm, you might want to embrace spider rain in your location. Or not? Number 12. Bloody rain. In 2001, in Kerala, India, it looked as if there was war in heaven. From July 25 to September 23, rain fell in Kerala, but it was not your regular rain. The downpour was heavy, and it was red-colored with an appearance similar to blood. Initially, scientists suspected that fallout from a hypothetical meteor burst colored the rains, but a study commissioned by the government of India found that the rains had been colored by airborne spores from a locally prolific terrestrial alga. According to residents of Kerala, the first colored rain was preceded by a loud thunderclap and flash of light, followed by groves of trees shedding shriveled gray burnt leaves. At the same time, the residents reported the disappearance and sudden formation of wells. At times, the red rain might be falling just a few meters away from the normal rain. Red rainfalls typically lasted less than 20 minutes, and each milliliter of rainwater contained about 9 million red particles. Extrapolating these figures to the total amount of red rain estimated to have fallen, it was estimated that 50,000 kilograms of red particles had fallen on Kerala. Number 11. Earthworms. At this point, you should already expect the worst because it has rained earthworms too. In the province of Liaoning, China, citizens witnessed worms or worm-like creatures falling from the sky. In a viral short clip, what looked like earthworms were seen scattered all over cars and on the streets of Liaoning. People walking on the streets were seen carrying umbrellas to protect themselves from the worm rain. The most asked question should be, do worms come from the sky? According to the scientific journal Mother Nature Network, the most likely explanation of the incident is that they were swept up by heavy winds and then dropped throughout the city. This, the journal stated, happens when insects are caught up in a whirlpool during a storm. While many believe that the slimy-looking things were worms, some believe they are poplar flowers, which is a tulip tree whose blooms resemble earthworms. But even when there are doubts, it is not impossible to actually have a worm rain. The phenomenon called earthworm rain usually occurs when specific weather conditions occur, such as strong winds that lift the earthworms and carry them into the clouds, where they can be carried long distances before falling back to the ground with the rain. Who else wants to agree that earthworm rain should never happen? Number 10. Tsunami from above. Tsunamis are great waves caused by earthquakes and volcanic eruption from under the sea, but this time, Mother Nature decided to flip it over and sends a tsunami from heaven. A professional photographer in Austria caught a beautiful yet terrifying sight on camera. The video he titled "Tsunami from Heaven" shows blue skies turning gray as rain clouds swoop in over Lake Millstatt in Carinthia, Austria. In case you are wondering why they titled it "Tsunami from Heaven," you should watch this video closely. The downpour of the rainstorm does indeed look like a tsunami coming from the heavens, don't you agree? The video looks too impressive to be real that some people thought it was fake. The photographer had to release the original clip with sounds, and when you watch with the sound, it feels like an experience. The video was captured in June of 2018, but for some reason the video has acquired over 20 million views after 2 years of release. Is it even a surprise? This is terrifyingly beautiful. Number 9. Cloudfall. Have you ever seen a cloudfall? Probably in a fantasy film. Now watch this. This video shows huge, unexplained foam-like clouds on the ground at Douala, Morocco, sending conspiracy theorists into overdrive. The strange clouds cover large areas of the landscape, and the man filming wanders around in awe, occasionally touching the substance. Some of the blobs are big, while some are small. At a point, a particularly sizable cloud blows forward and almost seems like a fantastical creature crawling over the road barrier. While everyone was trying to figure out the cause of the clouds, explanations have ranged from government weather manipulation, alien intervention, and naturally occurring sea foam. And as if all of that was not enough, some believe they are chemtrails, which are long-lasting trails believed to have been formed by high-flying aircraft. What do you think it is? Number 8. Fish. While the year was closing in 2021, it refused to end without a shocking event in Texas. Residents in Texarkana, almost 200 miles from Dallas, saw fish fall from the sky and land in their yards or sidewalks. If you have ever wondered as a kid where sea creatures come from, then at a point, you must have imagined this occurrence. Now, this event made it seem like sea creatures truly come from the sky, but scientists have given a better explanation. Fish falling from the sky is a phenomenon called animal rain that happens when small water animals such as frogs, crabs, or small fish are swept into waterspouts. Witnesses of this event were terrified at first as the fish rain was preceded by a loud crack of thunder, made it seem like heaven cracked open and poured out fish. It was not the first time fish from the sky. In 2017, teachers and students at an elementary school in Oroville, California, reported seeing 100 fish land on the school's playground and roof. While it is not common and you might have never seen such in your location, it does happen, and this one you see on your screen right now is evidence. Number 7. Boiled bats. For years, bats have had a really bad reputation because of their association with high-profile pathogens like Ebola, rabies, and so on they have been found to carry. A myth says bats in your house are bad luck. These beliefs have made people dread this creature. Now imagine waking up to see hundreds of dead bats. Well, it happened in Australia when hundreds of bats kept dropping from the sky. The record-breaking heat wave saw the mercury rise to 45 degrees Celsius in Sydney's western suburb of Campbelltown, where hundreds, if not thousands, of animals fell from trees after succumbing to the heat. According to Campbelltown Flying Fox Colony manager Kate Ryan, the heat affects the brains of the bats and they become incoherent. Basically, the bats boiled and dropped dead. Number 6. Bright blue UFO. Unidentified flying objects known as UFOs for short get a lot of attention because you just become curious as to where they come from and what they are. But this time, this UFO came in style as it was seen in a bright blue color, making it really terrifying. In Hawaii, police got several 911 calls about a bright blue UFO spotted in the sky. All of them said they saw a large blue object fall out of the sky and into the ocean. Multiple videos show the object flying in the night sky near Haleakala Avenue in Nanakuli. One of the witnesses, Mistina Sapi, said it was so unbelievable that she thought she was probably hallucinating. She had to call her husband to ask if he can see the same, and yes, he did. Sape never believed in UFOs, but this one caught her attention when she got into her car and followed it. 3 miles later, the blue light appeared to fall into the ocean and crashed without making a sound. It was after it had crashed that she called the police, and when they arrived, they spotted another light in the sky. But this time, it was a white light, and a smaller one. It also moved in the same direction as the blue one. The white light passed over a nearby town and suddenly disappeared from view. The authorities did not have any explanation to give for that occurrence. However, they thought the second light might be from an airplane, but no aircraft was missing or off the radar. To this day, nobody knows what those lights were about. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. There's been different stories and speculations about this image. Some of the stories say this big spherical object fell on the streets a very long time ago, and no one knows what it was. It is also said that this image is a representation of what it would look like if it happened in the present day. What do you think about this image? Do you think it is real? Let us know in the comments section. Number 5. Chelyabinsk meteor. In Chelyabinsk, Russia, footage shows a large fireball exploding in the skies. The video showed a 59-foot near-Earth asteroid exploding in the atmosphere. The most surprising thing is this asteroid came from the direction of the sun, a blind spot for telescopes and other sensors on the ground. No one saw it coming, and it caused millions of dollars of damage throughout the city. Most people were injured by broken glass, and a lot of people suffered eye damage from the blast that shone brighter than the sun. Some people even reported burns from the intense ultraviolet radiation caused by the blast. Even if the people recovered from the damage, the terrifying scene would take years to leave their memories. That's if it plans to ever leave. Number 4. A flock of birds. Look at this footage. Imagine being at the front of this house at this particular time. It would have been too terrifying. Even watching the footage is giving an eerie feeling. This place is Mexico, where a security camera recorded hundreds of blackbirds falling from the sky, hitting the pavement, and some died on impact. The footage has led to so many questions. Some have speculated that it was probably a result of pollution, while some blamed the 5G network. However, an animal expert said it was likely a predatory bird that led the flock of birds to the ground. Other possible causes for the bizarre fall include the birds inhaling toxic smoke from a nearby heater, or they were standing on an overloaded power line. And even though people only saw the dead birds on the streets, it was still very scary. And even with the explanation of the experts, a lot of people find this event mysterious. Who knows what really happened to those birds? Do you also agree with the animal experts? Number 3. A strange object. In February 2022, Adelini Barros, who lives in Tadpole Garden Village, was driving back to his home when he spotted something he has never seen before in the sky. He saw a stream of light in the night sky and couldn't help but pull over his car. He got down and timed the peculiar sight and also took clean shots of it. At first, he wasn't giving it much attention as he thought that it was something on the windscreen of his car because it was moving slowly, but when he pulled over, he discovered that it was up in the sky. But as he followed the light, he lost track of it behind a house. According to him, whatever it is that he saw was not near, and he also believed that it wasn't a meteor. He also said the object was melting as it was moving into the atmosphere. His daughter, Sarah Barros, who was with him, also witnessed it, and together they tried to find out if anyone else saw it, and if they would know what the strange object might be. Number 2. Wrath of Zeus. This event is titled Wrath of Zeus because it just has to be something that scary. Look at how a lightning bolt blasted a tree, sending tons of wood smashing onto the roof of a Canadian hunting lodge. The bolt came from the sky and strikes the towering timber with an explosive flash, breaking off several branches and just missing the hut by chance. When the splintered timber hits, the building's roof is completely smashed. At the time the video was filmed, the weather looked clear and it was not raining. The lightning came suddenly and struck the tree. Fortunately, nobody got hurt, but watching the clip just makes you wonder what would have happened if it actually struck a human. You really never can tell what to expect from the sky. Number 1. Drone rain. On October 1, 2021, a drone light show was organized in Zhengzhou, China, with over 5,000 people in attendance. Many of the audience were children who were enjoying the show that night, while the adults were filming the beautiful sight. But suddenly, their cameras caught something bizarre. The footage shows the drones in bright blue lights falling from the sky to the streets below, and you can hear screams and shouts as people ran for cover. There are drones, and a lot of them. You can hear the sounds of drones smashing into the ground in the background. While a lot of the drones fell rapidly, other drones began to descend slowly, seemingly still under the control of their operators. No one knows what caused the fall of the drones, however. An organizer reportedly told China news services that operation errors might have led to the fall. Fortunately, no one got injured in the incident, but no one would be able to forget how terrifying that event was. It just shows that anything can fall from the sky, so next time you go out, always look at the sky expecting surprises. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.